That's one off. So you just got to be careful. I'll try and zoom this in a bit. To see what I'm trying to do. Just want to be careful with the leather not to make a hole in the leather. Very important that you're wearing some form of glasses. There we go. Alright. So there's the piece on there that's just come off on the drill. Okay, you can see that. You can see that. That's the piece that we just drilled off. Okay. Alright, so just want to let that cool down a bit. There's the other piece that's still on there, the one that I just drilled off. Okay, that's coming off the inside. Alright, where's my finger? There. You don't want to be touching this with your bare hands, okay, that'll be quite hot. Right, you will burn yourself. Just use my glove. Alright, so that's off now. Alright. Okay, so that is the Chogan sheath. Right there, pretty much dismantled from that part there that we want off. Okay, now this particular part here that you can see these two holes, in the back. See those two holes in the back there? At some point, probably not tonight because it's getting quite late, I'm going to probably put a couple of snaps in here. Okay, so probably 2 snaps. We'll see how I go. And instead of having the rivets if I want to ever attach this back to this here, I'll just snap it on. It'll just snap attachment onto it, bang. Okay, so it's not technically damaging it, okay, as long as you do it carefully and don't damage the leather, it's all good, okay. So this here, I'll just bring this camera back a bit now. This here now is going to, I'll bring it around this way so you can see, and this way, okay. So now the Chogan will just have its own little sheath like so. Like that now, okay, and it'll just be attached like that. Alright, so without the rest of it on. So now when you attach this into the Viper torch holder or mag light holder, you won't have the hassle of having all this extra baggage on it, okay. That's my goal. Alright, so I just try all this out first. I haven't seen anyone else do it, but yeah, I think that's going to work nicely. So that's how it's going to look now. Alright, a lot less weight, and I'll be able to fit this in the pouch nicely. So I thought I'd quickly show you how to do that. Well, what we'll do is when it's all painted, I'll show you what it looks like with this inside it, the Viper pouch, mag light pouch holder, or that mag light holder, whatever you call it, okay, what it looks like in that, and then I will attempt to convince myself to take off one of my pouches off my main webbing, waist webbing, and put this in place, and effectively it will be going on my waist webbing. I can't see any other place for it that's going to be the best place for it. This is one piece of item that I want to keep on me. Alright, anyway, I suppose with this pouch here it does have a little bit of movement. What I may do is I may put it in some water. This leather is not very hard, okay, it's quite soft leather, and I don't know what thickness it is. What they have certain ounces or something with it. I'm not quite sure, I can't remember what it's called, but this is quite soft leather, and what I might do though is I might wet it and try and just this part where my finger is moving here, okay, I might wet it and just see if I can convince it to fold up a little bit so it will help lock it in place. I don't know, I'll have to try that out. So that'll be something else I might have to try and do. Just try and convince it to the leather to hold its position a little better. I don't know if that'll work, but hey, anything's worth a try. Okay. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you shortly. Part of the task that I'm going to do is I'm going to put the studs on the old part of the sheath, which I'm still going to keep, and so we'll just zoom it in here a little bit. Okay, so the studs that I've got don't really stick through very far, so the leather is a little bit thick. So I'm just going to try and push this down into the leather a little bit. Okay. Just to make a bit more of a depression there, and hopefully this will work. I probably should have I don't know what the middle piece is, come through a bit further would be better, but I've only got what I've got, so it's just gonna go for it. Alright. Sometimes it's just cross the fingers and hope for the best. Right. Okay, it seems to have worked okay. Hopefully that's going to be enough to hold it on. I think it should. Might go a little bit further. Alright. Now we'll do the other one. I might actually use my other round one. Use the same one. So that's that piece there on. Alright, going that way. Alright, let's grab the next one. Put that through. Use that one, I think. Try that one there. Okay, so put it through. Grab our top piece. I'm going to use this other leather table coffee mat here just to try to push it down a little bit, just to see if I can put a little bit of an impression, or depression should I say, into the leather. I mean, I suppose I could wet the leather to help form it a little better, but oh well. Just gonna push that down, try and get it to grab into the leather a bit better, just to give me a bit more of a metal to work with. Hopefully that will work there. All goods. Looks like it's folded over enough to hold them in place. Okay, so the next task is, let's just show you that. There you go, so that's those two. Alright. There we go. That's that part like that. Alright, and that's the two pieces that we've put on. Alright. Okay, let's move on to the main part of the sheath now. The key here is to make sure that we are actually putting it on properly, in the proper direction. So it should effectively, try and get this so that you guys can see the best angle. It should effectively, that's how it was like that. Okay, come up a bit. Okay, so that's how it effectively was like that. Okay, so we need to get the other ones now, and we want to put that in like so, so the snaps will go in this way. Alright. Some people use the bottom of this metal piece to do it, and other people just use the wood so that it doesn't slip off. In this case, I am going to probably just use the wood for now, just so that I can get it on. So I'm just going to push this in a bit, just to give it a little bit more of a depression. grab our pin. Come back a bit. Let's see what's going on. Should be suffice. No, that didn't grab at all. What's going on there? It's a bit weird. What's going on there? Let me have a look. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what was going on there. Let's put it on this metal piece, eh? Hopefully it doesn't slip off. Let's try my old one. Not quite sure what was going on there. It was a bit weird. Bit harder, I reckon. That's better. I don't know why that other one didn't go on. Alright, let's grab the next one. Okay, so it's a good thing about the hammer. When you need a hammer, you've got one. It's a good thing. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is just again, just push this down to get some kind of, a little bit of an depression there into the leather a bit, just to help it out. Probably better to do this on the workbench, but I couldn't be bothered going into the garage and doing it. So let's just bring this over this way a bit, team. Here we go. So you can see what we're doing for those that haven't maybe seen it before. I've done actual other videos of this. Putting these onto a knife sheath. So these studs, they're called studs, snap studs. So if you're keen on wanting to learn how to do this, just watch my video on attaching a snap stud or attaching a stud to a knife sheath. Try not to hit your fingers. All goods. All goods. Alright. Let's see how that goes. Alright, if this doesn't work, I'll have to drill them out. So hopefully I've had enough metal there to thing it into place. Okay, so technically, as I said, this is how it would go. This is how it originally was. Okay, and now we're just going to clip them in. See how this goes. Alright, perfect. Alright, just like it was before, only, sorry about that shadow, just like it was before, only better now. Alright, so we've got the it on the snaps on the back there. Okay, and these ones on the inside here won't affect the axe when it comes in on the sheath. Okay, So I'll just move that out of the way. Alright, so originally it was like so. Alright, so effectively it's still the same sheath, only it has a little bit more versatility now. Okay, where I can just use this piece for what I want to use it for. Technically I could attach this part here to the pack, okay, to my pack or somewhere else, and have it available to just attach the sheath, and I may do that, I'm not sure just yet. But now I can actually take it off and use this part on its own. Alright, so if we take this here off, alright, I can take these two snaps here off, okay, like so, and it's just got that part of the sheath here on it now. Alright, because we've just unsnapped it. Alright, so yeah, pretty happy with that. So hopefully that might help a few of you out there for that part. And the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to attempt to convince this bottom part of the sheath to come up here, okay, to lock it into place. So I'll probably do that over the weekend, and I may use the heater to warm it up, okay, and slap a clamp on it when I do that. So I'll probably video that as I do it, or the outcome of it, I don't know, we'll see. Anyway, we'll leave that at that, and we'll move on to the next part. So what I've got to do now is, just as I was getting ready to sort of shape the leather on this pouch, it's going to be a little bit difficult. I noticed it's starting to tear. Where are we? Just up in here. Alright, just down here where my finger is, it's starting to tear in there. Alright, so it's only like a cotton on here. You can see it here, it's starting to fray. Alright, and on the other side, at the bottom part, it's not fully enclosed either. You can see here where the blade gets stopped by that bit of leather in there, okay, between basically that leather in there. It doesn't go right up to there either. So what I'm going to do, as usual, get out the trusty sewing awl and stitch it up and make it solid. Okay, the sheath, this part of the sheath is a little bit loose. It won't come off, but it is a little bit loose, a little more loose than what I would like. So possibly even my stitching, I might be able to like tighten it up a little bit. I don't know yet. We'll see how we go, and that means the moulding process may not have to be so intense. But anyway, that's my next task, is to stitch, starting from the top here, stitch it in solid properly, going all the way around, and then up to here. Okay, so that's the next thing I'm going to do. Be back shortly. So I've basically finished stitching it. Hopefully you can see that there without me being in the light. Here we go. Actually, let me just go and turn this other light on behind me. Okay, so I've got the stitching on there. You'll be able to see it like that and like that. So it's a little bit better of a fit now. So the next thing we're going to do is, that's nice and solid. That's not going to come undone. Okay. What I might actually do at some point is, I might actually, with these ones here, I could actually probably just leave them. They're fine, because they've all got like the rivets on them. Okay, so next thing we want to do is Gee, that's on tight. Oh, geez, that's on tight. Right, I'm just going to pause the video and take this to get this here off. Give that a good bash to get it loose. It shouldn't have been like that. It was quite tight for some reason. Anyway, so next thing I'm going to do is just put some Vaseline onto this here. So I'm just going to bring it down so you can see what we're doing. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to get some Vaseline. Chuck it on the blade here. Alright. And this is just to protect the blade. Alright. Vaseline is I don't know, pretty cheap. Get some of that onto there. And this is just to protect the blade from getting all rusted. Okay, when we put the water in. Next thing I'll do is just use a plastic bag. And I'm going to slide that into here. Okay, like so. I could almost close this whole thing off actually, if we can fit it in. Nah, that'll do like that. It's all good. Okay, so just got it in the plastic bag, like so. Next thing we're going to do is I'm just going to CRC these studs, okay? Because this is going to get all wet. And CRC might help with this, and it might not. But we'll see how we go. Next thing I want to do is dunk this into the water, and that's warm water there. Okay, so I'm just going to dunk it in, and all we want it to do is the water to saturate the leather. Okay, so all we're doing is just waiting for the bubbles to come out of the leather. I'll see if I can zoom that in a little bit. Don't know if you can see the bubbles. Come back a little bit. And a little bit. Okay, you can still see some of the bubbles coming up. Just want these bubbles to come out of the leather. The bubbles will tell us that the leather is full of water. I'm just going to flick it over, make sure. Okay, that should do it. Okay, next thing I want to do, now it's not warm in here, we're in the middle of winter in New Zealand, but I'm just going to get this done anyway. You should really do this on a hot day, or do it in front of the fire or whatever, but hey, I'm going to put this here on. Okay, and I'm sort of going to pull it to the top, and what I want to do is this bottom part under here, I want that coming up as far as I can. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to bring this out a bit so you can sort of see. I couldn't find my I couldn't find any clamps of mine, so I only had like a real big one in the garage. I can't find my other one. So what I'm going to do is just use a bit of this Velcro that I had lying around. Okay, and so hopefully, with a little bit of luck, that there, when it dries out, will seal that bit of leather onto it a bit better. Alright. And just whatever else I can do at the moment to help this lock into place, get this to lock into place a bit better. Like I said, this part of the sheath isn't a very tight fit. It was quite loose, you know, and so hopefully with a bit of persuasion I can take some of the slackness out of it and make it fit a bit better than what it currently is.
You should go through it. That's the price little boy needs. Yeah.
I should have really cut my nails before I did this. So it's not a bad idea to cut your nails so you don't go digging your nails into the leather and cutting into it. So what you want to do is just try and find anywhere where there's slackness, okay, and try and get it out, okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just leave that how it is, and I'll probably come back in about I don't know, an hour, and just try and reshape it again as best I can. I think this side here, there's not much I can really do to this side. Probably try and get it to grip onto that the bed of the actual sheath, or the bed of the Chogan, just to get that take a little bit of the slack out of it as well. It's probably not a bad idea. And down, you can see down here where, I'll zoom in a bit, so try and get in along here. You can see that groove there, try and get into there. Down here where the bed of the Chogan is on the inside. We want that lip of the leather here on this side up as much as we can. That's why I've got this Velcro here, holding it into place. Hopefully that will work. And try and keep the bed on both sides. So if you can see here, the bed in here, I'm trying to get that part in there. I think you can just see that there. So if I can get all that in, just to take up any slack in the leather, then hopefully it'll have a better, tighter grip on this blade, which is what we want. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let that sit for a while, about an hour as I said. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to do it again. And while that's happening, I'm going to go and cut my my fingernails. So I'll be back shortly.